Another thing that I like to do is I gift them a sign with their logo on it. And I say, I just want to give this to you. You know, I love eating here, or I'm at this brewery every other week with my hubby, and I just want to gift this to you. And also just let you know that we do these parties and we actually can make things like this, you know, for people that come to the party. And this is kind of how it would work. This is how much I charge. You just start talking, you know, that's like, be friendly, be giving, bring them a sign, bring them a tumbler, you know, so whatever you do, and then just start having that conversation.
Like, Don, now you're in the host spot, so guide us in, Don.
Perfect.
Yeah, sure. Welcome. So glad to have you here. I'm Dawn Marie from Sign Parties 101.
Oh my God, she's taking it. Boys, do your job.
Okay, well, guys, we got Dawn Marie here, of course, Sign Parties 101. We had the pleasure of meeting her at LBX about 3 weeks ago now. So she has been kind enough to donate some of her time tonight to be with us and talk about
Hi, Don.
what she does, why she does it, how she got started, all that fun stuff. So thank you for joining us, Dawn. And we'll see if Alex is going to be joining us.
Yeah, we'll let him join himself.
But I guess the biggest question people have is, to start with, is what lasers do you own right now that makes you do your part of your business?
I have a Eon Mira 9. So I started with a Glowforge Basic, and then I went to Glowforge Pro and ran them both for a while because I didn't know any different. And then I ordered my Eon, and since it was going to be a while before it came, I ordered an OM-Tech 80 watt in the meantime, ran all 3 of those lasers. And then once my Mira 9 got here, I got rid of those 3 and then just run my Mira 9 now. So,
All right, I have a question for you because I never owned a Glowforge. What is the difference? And I know it's a large difference, but like, from someone who went from operating Glowforge only to an Aeon, what do you think? Like, what was it like or what do you think?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. It was definitely that and more. I think the Glowforge is great for somebody. I would say somebody like my mom, who is maybe just doing stuff for themselves or just wants to make cute gifts for like the neighbors or something like that, then it's great. Plug and play and go for it. But for anybody else that wants to run a business and is very limited on time and so forth, you need to go higher wattage, faster speed, more reliability. I was wasting so much time and so much material on running a job, and then, you know, it didn't cut through. So I just wasted a half hour cut time and it didn't go through because you can't.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So yeah, it's, again, I don't want to, you know, dog it because there are good things about it, but if you're running a business, you just need something faster and more reliable.
And that's one of the things we never give anybody a hard time. At least I don't give anybody a hard time about what they've got, because if that's what you got, that's what you got.
Right.
But there's a lot of really great opportunities, like you're saying, especially with the Aeon. So what else you got, boys?
Sorry, I moved my camera. That made a lot of noise.
It made fart noises while Don was talking.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Jesus.
I live with a lot of boys. That's all right.
Well, but the fact that you are an ambassador, right?
A partner with Eon, yeah.
Yes. Are you going to get the fiber laser?
I was debating, but I chose not to because, again, I'm probably going to get FOMO when all the partners start getting theirs, because we had a promo last year that a lot of us kind of, earned one or whatever, but I don't do much retail anymore. I'm more just on the coaching side. And so for logistic wise, for me to have one, not a lot of my audience does that. And so I just chose not to. I may get one in the future. My husband would probably love to play with it and stuff, but just not at this time.
So is your business right now just you running the show? Or is your husband partner in this whole thing?
No, it's just me. I mean, he cuts my wood, like, when we get it in the big, sheets, he'll cut it down for me. I do sell MDF and stuff like that. And so he cuts my wood for those boxes and then to run on my own laser. But otherwise it's just me. So
Gotcha.
Yep.
Oh man. So other thing is I don't think what people understand is like you offer coaching for like sign parties is like your jam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell us about that.
You gotta explain like what your sign parties 101's all about.
Yeah. So how far back do you want me to go? Like how I got started?
All the way. Yeah.
All
everything.
the way. Oh gosh. Okay.
It was a Tuesday morning in fall.
Yeah.
Good, Mario.
So basically back in 2016, my husband brought a pallet home from work and he was a power lineman. And I was like, you know what? That looks kind of fun to like create stuff with. So I took a Sawzall and just cut the thing apart and made a pallet sign. And I just made it with my kids' names on it, whatever. And I posted that on Facebook to just say like, hey, look what I made for myself. And I had 3 friends reach out to me and say, will you make one for me? And I didn't think of like selling them at all or anything. And I was like, really? Wow. And this was before I even knew like what a vinyl cutter was or stencils or anything. This was all just done with, what's that paper called? Where you kind of, you mark it. So I was like printing out the font on a computer and marking it on the carbon paper. Yeah, I was marking it on the wood and then coloring it in with a paint pen. So yeah, this was like
1995, boys.
Hey, what's up?
Right? Yeah, and so I was doing it that way because again, you don't know what you don't know. And then I just started getting into custom signs. Then I learned about a vinyl cutter. I got the stencil machine going and just started making customs. And at this time, so I have 7 children, biological, no twins, same man. Yeah, that's all the questions I get.
All right, so that's a big flex, but okay. Same.
Yeah. So at this time, they were 11 to 1. So we had 7 kids in 10 years. And my husband was gone a lot because, like I said, he was a power lineman. So all the storms and all the hurricanes and stuff he was going to. And so I just needed an outlet for some creativity. And so I started making these signs. And what I kind of came across was if I did a custom sign in, let's say, 3 hours, it took me and sold it for, whatever, X amount of dollars. I'm like, how can I like mass produce this? And I thought, well, what if I taught a class and I taught other people how to make their own sign? Then I could essentially sell 10, 20, 30, how many ever are in the in the class. I call them parties.
One
at
shot.
The same time. Yeah, right. So I'm like, let's do these parties. And I didn't know this was before. I didn't even think of looking on Facebook. This was kind of before like Facebook groups were a big thing, whatever. And so I didn't have any guidance other than just trial and error. So I started with the wrong stain, with the wrong stencil material. I was using the wrong paint, like all the problems. But I learned very quickly what worked and what didn't. So 2017 is when I started my parties, and I had 4 parties my first month. And then I had 8 my second. I had 16 my third. And then
so you're doing something right.
Yeah. And then by month 6, I was doing 5 parties a week by myself. And I was like, I can't do this with 7 babies at home. I'm like, this isn't working. And so I hired my first instructor in July of that year. And then by the end of that 2017, I had 6 instructors working for me that would go out and do the parties. My dad was cutting my boards full time. And we were doing up to 9 parties a week. So that first year I ended at 200 parties. And then and then it just grew from there. And then I started not instructing them. I would only take them when my instructors could do them so I could stay home. And I just did all the back end stuff. And then just kind of fast forward to that was 2017. 2019, I decided to open my free Facebook group, Sign Parties 101, because I was like, I wonder if there's anybody out there that is like interested in learning what I've done. There was. And so I just poured into that group, was telling them all the things, stuff that I learned, what worked, what didn't. And then I was like, I wonder if I could charge for my coaching, essentially. People can take this knowledge and go start a business. And so I opened up my first membership January 1st, 2020. and I had 194 people join the first day, and my audience was less than 1,000 people, and I had no email list. So
that's
this
20% conversion rate. That's double what you'd expect.
I was like, I was hoping there would be 20 people, and 194 joined. So I was like, okay, I'm on to something. Yeah. And so that year it just grew, and then I started my second membership at the end of that year. And yeah, so that's basically what I do now is, and then we moved across the country in September of 2020, we moved from Minnesota to Idaho, which is where I'm at now. My husband quit his job, so he's full-time here with me. And yeah, I just coach people how to make money.
You are a boss lady, man.
Yeah.
For real. Golly.
So it's pretty fun.
That's incredible. Well, the fact that you got so much immediate traffic proves your point that there was value there.
Yeah, there's a niche.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to like, trends ebb and flow and so forth. But like the whole, especially women getting together and doing like a craft night or getting out and enjoying a glass of wine with your friends, like that's not going away. So if you can market it in a way that it's a ladies' night out, or I have a really good success with, at the end there, I was doing about 85% of bachelorette parties. So anytime a group of ladies can get together, and let's make a sign sort of thing. But then also fundraisers, team building activities, it's really endless, the possibilities. So
I was going to say, as a former teacher, that sounds like something that I could see people like at my school wanting to do, literally, because anytime there's an opportunity for us to sip and chat, with definitely a chance to get out and have an opportunity, that'd be pretty cool. So that's another market for sure that could get going. Yeah,
schools are great. And a lot of like, any sector of the school, like if you're doing sports teams or the PTA or PTO, band, anybody that wants to raise money, the art department or whatever, you say you can do a sign party and, give a portion back to them, either raise your prices or, whatever, and then just give a portion back to them. It's great because it's not just like the typical, I'm selling a pizza or a candy bar. Or
it's building the community and it's also building the bank account.
Yep. And you can also make up kits. And so that's what my second membership is it's called the Board Box. And we do kits, DIY kits. So for those people that don't want to do a party, a physical party or whatever, they can ship out kits, or they can do kit parties, which I did a lot of. So when I was really busy, I didn't take any parties that were less than 10. I would say yes to them, but I would just tell them we're going to turn it into a kit party. And instead of me going there, the host would come pick up all the kits and she would do it on her own. And so yeah, you don't even have to be there. You can just put all
that's
the
really cool
for them and send them off.
And that kind of makes it more personal too, because sometimes people don't want like anybody who's not in their clique there. So that lets them kind of have that group. That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's interesting that you've leveraged it for especially corporate team building that's thinking outside the box, this corporate, jargon. But you tap into that market, that's significant.
Yeah. Well, and that way too, like, especially the way that I did it. So the ones that I really like have a planked background. So like 1x4s. And then we use the power, like the nail guns and stuff to brace them together and whatever. And so like, if any guys, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do it because, that's like girls crafty, whatever. I'm like, dude, we use stain and nail guns and like all the things. So, the men liked it too. So yeah, I did a lot of team building. Banks are huge for that. I don't know why. And I tell my people all the time is like, go to the bank. They have the money and they like to do stuff as a team. So banks were huge, dentist offices, things like that would do team building, and men would be there as well. But yeah, they love it.
Are there really men who actually like their masculinity is so bad that they're like, I'm not going to touch paint on a piece of wood?
Yeah. Well, I would hear that a lot from the wives, like, oh, my husband would never do this or whatever.
I mean, like, your husband would never paint something?
I know. I think it's ridiculous, but
like, I literally was outside my house today, like, I need more gray.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Welcome to the sign party, Kyle.
I'm on my phone.
Welcome to the sign party.
Hi, Dawn. Right. Great to see you. Sorry for my audio issues. And hi to chat. I can't see your chat right now because I'm used to having things on my monitors. But I'm really excited that you came to chat with us today, Dawn. That's awesome. So is your I see I'm just looking over like my Dawn Marie cheat sheet, and everything seems like it's labeled Sign Parties 101. Is that the company is that like your company name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my trademark name is Sign Parties 101. So that's usually how people know me across all platforms.
That's awesome. You have a huge following online too. Over 1,000 on Instagram, almost 2K on YouTube, and almost 10. You're really close to 10K on your Facebook group too, which is awesome. And
which I also have another Facebook group. It's kind of I only did it because that one people started or Facebook started pushing people to that group instead, and so I was like, well, I'm going to post. So I post the same things there, but it's called Laser DIY Parties. And that one I think is at about 8,000 or so.
Oh my God.
Facebook is definitely my jam. That's where I built. Like Instagram and YouTube are just like kind of like whatever. Whatever. Facebook's my jam. So that's where I am most.
That's super cool. And are both of those Facebook groups linked in the link tree that Boy sent me earlier?
It's your main one from the Facebook's got all her. Okay, guys, I'll show you
just
her.
the Sign Parties 101.
Just Sign Parties 101. Okay. Yeah. So we have a link to her website.
So I have it here that we're going to show. This is what it looks like, guys. It kind of lists all her services and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm moving stuff around my stuff. So can you kind of explain these different things for people?
Yeah. So so the first one, so the virtual venture. So I just released this like literally last week. Throughout the last few years, because I've built my business online, a lot of people outside of the crafting laser niche have asked me like how I have done what I've done with starting digital products and so forth. And so I finally created like a little guide to show the systems that I recommend, how you can take something that you're passionate about, whether that's like gardening or photography or, a personal chef or whatever, and you can turn that into a digital product and sell it to people. And so that is what I do with, that's what the virtual venture is. So then the next ones are just basically like step 1, step 2, step 3. So the first step, and yes, I will change that picture.
My bad.
The voice said it's grainy. Is that's just like the starter guide, like what is a sign party, just kind of the overview.
Before we even like roll through all the links, I just want to kind of give a little background. Did we already cover like what a sign party is?
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, and
how
did we cover Dawn's role in this? Because Dawn isn't throwing the sign parties anymore, right? You're like teaching people how they can do this with their lasers. Did we cover all of that?
So she talked about her origin and how she don't even do it no more. She just coaches and
all right, I'm just catching myself up.
Teams of people across the country
and a ton of resources for that too, which is what this was the part I really didn't want to miss this. So I'm glad that I was here in time to kind of see some of these resources that you have.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to go back and let her talk about it. Yeah.
One thing I will mention too with doing the actual party. So when we moved here in 2020, that is when I was going to stop fully and just go to coaching. But I did open up my own brick and mortar when I came to Idaho, and I had that for about 1.5 years. But I only did it for a teaching tool because a lot of my students are saying like, oh, I don't know anybody, so I can't do this. And to like debunk that, I was going to show them that I could open a brick and mortar and make it successful in a place that I didn't know anybody. And so I did that. So I opened up my brick and mortar. I had parties there all the time. And then I closed it because that's not what I wanted to do. That's not where
it's a lot of work.
Mama ain't got time for that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, because then you have to have a staff there. You've got to have materials there and at your house for shipping. Oh my God. It's like one more thing.
Right. Yeah. And it is like a full-time job to plan these parties and stuff. And so at a brick and mortar, especially, that's why I coach mostly. If you're just getting into this, do it mobile. Like I was mobile for over 600 parties. And that is the way to go because you have like zero overhead. So, but again, I did have a brick and mortar. So I was doing parties a little bit when I was here, but then I switched back to just coaching. So yes, I teach people how to make money with sign parties or DIY kits. And yeah, basically, like you said, what is a sign party? So I always say, like, take a project that you love, and it doesn't even have to be a sign, but all of mine just end up being signs. Something that you love to make and teach other people how to do it. So in simple terms, that's what it is. Just grab something that you love to build, love to make, get enough supplies that a handful of people can do it, and then teach other people how to do that process. So that is what I did with basically like home decor that you can find at Hobby Lobby or, stuff like that. And then once I got into the lasers, I switched over to offering both stencils or 3D on the signs. And then my customers could choose. So that's just kind of the overview of what is a sign party. But you can get into other things like centerpiece boxes and, chunky blankets and bird houses and, earrings. And you can
like
have
seasonal stuff.
People doing earring parties, mug parties. Yeah, like there's literally anything that you can make. You can do it in a class.
The earring thing's a good idea, though. Like the earring thing is something you could kick out really quick, too.
The sign parties resources that you're offering online apply to all of those things that you just listed, right? I mean, once you have like the core down on how to like host an event like this, you can apply it to an infinite number of things. It doesn't have to be signs.
Yeah, and by January, I should have another course out. It's going to be called Teach Your Craft, and it basically is going to walk anybody through the steps. If they have, let's say, earrings that they want to make, it's going to list exactly the step-by-steps, what you need to do, how you need to do it. So if you're outside of the signs, you can still do this process.
The one question I have, if you're doing a mobile party, and maybe you cover this in your class, but like insurance, like, because I'm thinking of giving, like you said, someone like my mom, I give her a hot glue gun. Yeah. Like I'm just thinking of my mom. So how does that work? Just general liability,
Yeah, yes, it's general liability. Yeah. So if, for example, you spilled paint on somebody's carpet or something, your insurance will cover to, take it. You just want to check with your insurance company, let them know what you're doing, and they'll tell you what you need. But it's basically just general liability.
I didn't think about spilling paint. Like I think about my sister-in-law and their house.
Yeah.
It's like three of their houses.
You have to understand, most of the times we do this in people's garages, outside in their backyard, in their shed, we do.
They know what's about to go down, right? Like, they know it's going to be like a messy ordeal.
But it's actually not that bad. Even when we use stain and stuff, I have a process where, the stains are in like little 2-ounce cups, and they're at the tables that have plastic.
Oh, so you have everything like already. Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I thought was really impressive about your material that you offer, is that it seems like really, really granular. Almost, I think I was talking to Miranda about you earlier today, and I kind of compared it to like a franchise. Like you've already thought about every little detail. Like literally anybody can just pick up and like go, and they have all of the answers, like all of them.
And that's good because you can already see me overthinking it. I'm like, but what if a nail gun goes off?
And Dawn has an answer for that. That's what I think is really, really cool about her program. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like any shortcuts were taken.
She's done this.
Literally thought, and I'm sorry I'm talking about you in the third person, but she's literally thought about like every little detail. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
Well, I've been there. I've walked that. I've figured out that, if you paint in the sun, it's going to dry faster, which means it's going to adhere to the stencil. So like, there's certain things that you can't do or you should do this way or whatever. And that's what I teach, because I've been there and, learn from my mistakes, learn from what I've gone through. And so if you go back to that list, that first one was that starter guide. That's just kind of like the overview. And then when you talk about the hand holding, that next one, the playbook, that's the one I just released a few weeks ago. And it's 21 days to your first sign party. And each day it's going to be a video and an action step that you take that day. And it is literally a hand hold. It's like on day one, I say, order the supplies, and I have every supply with a link. So you can just click it and order it. And then day 2, do this. And it's like, here, now post this on your social media. And I have examples for you to post I have videos on how you make the sign. Like, it's literally a hand holding thing. So on day 21, you have your first party. So yeah, that's like, you know, I want to say it's like my baby, because it's like, it's literally everything that I know to do in those, you know, 21 days to get you off the ground and going on your first party. That's in that playbook. And then the next step after that would be then to join the monthly support group, which is my Sign Party Central. And that's kind of like the main hub of my trainings. And so each month we do, there's files and there's business trainings. I have challenges. We do Zoom calls. There's Q&As, the private community, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the next step. But yeah, it's really, it's not that complicated. So if I can just like explain to people, like, if you need to make some extra money, start sign parties, because they are profitable. I did, you know, $45 a person is my kind of average, and it's just kind of stayed that way. And so I did $45 a sign. And when I was making them, it was less than $10. I mean, it was probably like $7 for all the materials. And then, you know, my time or paying my instructor or whatever, $10, and I sell them for 45. So, I mean, it's a huge profit margin. Yeah. So, I mean, at a 10-person party, you're bringing home $450, and I can do them in about 2 hours.
I got to tell you too, like,
usually people are just starting.
I did not believe this until I saw like the numbers, and I was like, I have like a hard time. I guess I have a hard time putting myself in that position and being like, come over and make some signs. Like, it doesn't really seem like something that I would do. So maybe I would never come to your house to make a sign. I know, but like, people will though, right? That's the thing, is that people will do that, especially at Miranda's house. I mean, you're really big on Facebook. I mean, that's where those kind of events are being put together and managed, and people do it. They must, otherwise the system wouldn't work.
And there's a reason it's growing.
And
it's clearly
the other thing that's nice though is a lot of people say, well, like, I don't know anybody, like I said, or I don't want to bug my family and friends. You know, they think of it more as like a Tupperware party or an MLM or something like that. And that's not the case. Like, I didn't have family or friends do a party until I was like 2 years into it. And the secret to that is you tap into other people's markets. So you don't, or network. So you don't host the parties. You find a host, and then they invite their family and their friends and their coworkers and so forth. And in order to find them, you incentivize them, you give them a free sign or whatever. And then also you go to those businesses, you do fundraisers, you do team building activities and so forth. And then you find a person or a business that wants to host it. And then once those people come and have a great time, and then you tell them when you're there, hey, I can come to your house. We can do, you know, if your sister-in-law is getting married and, you know, you want to do a bachelorette party for her or whatever, I'll come to your place. We'll set up all that kind of stuff. And you just get their wheels thinking, and they're like, I want to do another one because it's fun. And then
I'm really glad you said that. That made it click for me. Like, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking at like Matt and Kyle and Boyce, and I'm like, how would we, because so just like straight up, our audience is like 92% men. So I'm going to manify this because and it works. So I'm thinking like, how would this work in my world? And the first thing I thought of was like card and game shops. Like, how cool would it be to go on like a D&D night and make like some cool like D&D realm like signs?
Alex, I take offense to that. He literally was talking trash about D&D yesterday to me.
I wasn't making me money yesterday. Today it is. So I'm telling you, dude, like there's definitely like a lot of that. Now I get it. Now you go and you're the party basically, and you're going to the venue and bringing the party with you.
Yep.
I have something that might be really, really tangible for our audience of 92% men with fiber lasers, right? Have if you're in a gun club and you can set up your laser and be like, hey, let's you can pick a graphic. We'll do your magazine or some shit, whatever, you know. Gun people do.
Language, boys.
Oh man, my bad. I got
always voice.
magnified for a second.
I think it's the longest we've gone. 29 minutes and 25 seconds. We need to
It's
write
a
that down.
gosh darn record, you know. So, but we do. But I think that's something you could do is from our audience to be like, okay, what would guys do to get together? And you can use your laser, your fiber laser,
Paint your PMAG,
your UV laser, whatever it is, right? Dog people, you know, you can make dog tags, whatever it is, and just give you a reason to sit around drinking.
Oh, dog tag party, brilliant.
well,
yeah, little things like that.
That'd be
Like she
cool.
said, tap it into a market and let them decide. You go and have fun.
but the
You
other thing
provide them
too
all
is
their
this is how you
supplies.
can tap into a new market. So if that's where you're stuck, is like with those boys.
Sorry.
If you're in that situation, like I'm thinking about in my town, there's an event center, and it's literally like this small space that's like probably 600 square feet, but it's for private parties, like really small private parties, and they do all kinds of really cool girly stuff. But that's the thing, I don't have to be the person who's hosting the party because I would be terrible at that. Like I sound like I'm a chronic smoker. Hey guys, welcome to the side party. Come on in. And I've got like a nail gun and some plastic plastic wrap. Come on in, guys. Like that's not gonna fly. But if I got my wife or someone who's way more, I started that. You're welcome.
Of course, you are, Laura.
There's Laura.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things where to me, buying that course would be perfect because I don't know how to make cutesy posts on Facebook. Like right before the show, I literally was saying, I like was picturing my phone. I'm like, I've made this glass, buy one. Like that's what I did. Like, so that would definitely
Ron
make
Swanson
sense.
thing I've ever heard you say.
That was the most what?
Ron Swanson thing I've ever heard you say.
I know stuff.
I was thinking like you go to like a wine place or a vineyard or something that does their own wine. Do wine glasses for a little wine party with the UV.
Well, in Michigan,
God.
it's a huge winery community here. Like wineries, dispensaries, and breweries in my area would probably be a great market. Like you just got to find what's, like you said, Don, it's something that's in your area you can tap into and have fun.
Yeah, and a lot of the breweries, even around here, same thing. Idaho is big on wine and beer, and they'll do sign parties or they'll do craft parties or whatever at the brewery, and then you work a deal like, you know, every person gets a glass of beer and an appetizer with whatever you're making, or you could pair it with like you can have your own custom tumbler with whatever, or you know, like however you want to work it. But yeah, wineries, breweries, I mean, those are great places to host things like this because it's good for the both of you, right? Like if you're going to be there doing a class or party, you're going to be bringing people to their establishment, and then also they are going to be advertising you because you're coming to there. So like you're both cross promoting each other, and it's great all around. So the chances of anybody saying, no, we don't want to do that at our location is pretty much zero because they want to.
I feel like each one you do too, your portfolio just gets stronger because you have this massive backlog at some point. You're like, we did it at all of these businesses, and you've got like you know, your list of logos or like a ton of photos from each event, and it just looks like, well, everybody else is doing it. You know, we should jump in on that too.
Right.
Yeah.
John and Mark are going nuts too. They're the beer signs, power tool signs, sports signs. Maybe not the sports signs, but everything else. Yes. Hey.
Sports sign sounds like a way to get sued.
Well, but that's
like a lawsuit.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well, we won't get
I've had a hard time focusing. Yes, football. I've had a hard time focusing because this question, you said something earlier, and I don't want to derail us too much, but I do need clarification. You said 2D or 3D signs. Do you mean like layering wood to get it to 3D versus like a vinyl cut for like a stencil, or what? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So either doing like a lasered piece of wood on it. So like 1/8 inch MDF, you know, and using that as your words, and you just glue them on the sign. So you paint and glue down. So that would be like a 3D versus the 2D is just the stencil, you know, the vinyl on the, now I don't ever put vinyl down and just leave it. It's a vinyl stencil, paint in the stencil, and then peel off the vinyl.
Otherwise they wouldn't have anything to do at the party.
And they look funky to me.
Right.
So, yeah.
For sure. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry. That was killing me.
No problem.
Oh man. Have you ever done them out of acrylic? Do you do acrylic at all? or just
No,
wood?
I haven't. I have not, but that would be amazing because I
Really?
know you can make amazing signs with acrylic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the
acrylic
maybe
is
list
really
in the
cool,
future.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, like
But yeah,
we do
no.
stuff with acrylics with standoffs. You can like pre-cut the holes and they can screw them together at the end and be like, bam, there's your cool standoff sign that
Yeah.
acrylic on the
That
front.
would look really cool with like family name signs and stuff like that. Yeah. Mhm.
And I saw, so when we were looking at your links, I know that you had the link for like your supporter platform. It was basically your version of the LMA, which people should definitely be signing up for. Miranda was telling me there was like another one where people would sign up and it's almost like a subscription box that you would get, but instead of like actually getting a physical box in the mail, it would come with like stuff like ideas to like cut or files and things like that. Did we skip that, or was that included
That's
in the episode?
is that the one that's in the middle he's talking about? Like
So that would be the board box. Is that what you're
Right.
talking?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So if you click on more ways to learn and earn in the middle,
Do it. Do it.
I'm working on it.
You are such an old man.
Well, at least he knows how to use the computer. That's good.
well, there's my
Wow.
Facebook group.
I'm on my computer.
Okay, if you scroll down,
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, come
go
on,
all the
guys.
way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom.
There you go. Nope, sorry, up again. So right there, those
Oh, there you
boxes.
go.
So the board box.
Yep.
So that
Board
is
Box
my
Junior.
yeah. So that's my monthly subscription with. So that's like, yes, you're not going to get a physical box in the mail, but you're going to get the project files, the instructions to put in the box, the supply list that you need for the box, all the pictures to promote the box, and then you can just grab that and go promote it to your audience and start getting orders like tomorrow.
Okay, go
Right.
ahead and go to the junior one because that
I
looks so
definitely-
freaking adorable.
Right. So I definitely want to get into this a little bit. So you send people the files. They're going to cut stuff out physically,
Cute.
put it in a box, and then sell the box to somebody. Is that
That's so
right?
cute.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So is the context different here? Like does this not so much revolve around like the party form of delivery as it would be like something else? Like what's the selling point for this when they're reaching out to potential
Right.
customers?
So a lot of people, especially when they're first starting, they're kind of freaked out to teach classes,
That's
right?
so
They
cute.
they don't have that confidence of like, well, I can't stand in front of people and teach them how to make a sign. Like, no way. But they
Yeah.
still want to kind of do it. So the boxes give them a chance to create the project, like cut the 3D pieces, whatever. Or people that don't have a laser can order the wholesale blanks through me. They cut the project, they put all the supplies in it, and then they can sell that box to somebody or sell it to a host who's going to have her own party. So
See, that's what I'm thinking.
maybe they order
His
10
or
of
her.
yeah. They order 10 of them or whatever, and then they either do a porch pickup or whatever, they meet at a place if it's local or ship it out or so forth. So
And you do a new one every month.
yeah, there's
I think
like
it's
I do
2, right?
three a month. I say at least 2 with a bonus. So there's always 2 and a little one. But most of the times I do.
So here's where like I'm already on board with what you're talking about because like I was saying, I've already got the event center in my mind. It's like the cutesy patootsy. Like they literally just had like an Eras tour, like girls' day party there, like once a week, every week for a month. And my first thought when I saw this was my wife is a kindergarten teacher. She's awesome at working with kids. I can either laser cut these or buy them through you, give them to her, and now she can literally be part of the business doing that like once a month. And that's an extra couple $100 right there. Boom.
Right.
I would say this. It's
Yeah, this
also
is
a
like a
lead
little
for
one.
generating business.
Oh
Oh,
my God, look how
So
cute that is.
this was just a little one in the Board Box Junior last month. Something like this.
Oh my gosh.
Just simple.
And that's so easy to put in front of like a sign that says like I made this at my sign party, like that, like with a mom and a kid or a dad and a kid. Like that's so cute.
Yeah. So, and I have my youngest 3 are 8, 10, and 11, and so I practice on them with like the Board Box Junior. And if they love it, then
this task.
then yeah.
it's simple, but you don't have to think at all, which is really
Well,
nice.
because she's made it so clear with the instructions. It's like
instructions,
do
that's it.
this,
Follow
have the person you sell it to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that it really is. My goal with the Board Box and the Board Box Junior was it's literally like a business in a box. They can sign up, they can grab the files, grab the pictures, and go. I'm somebody that likes everything simple. I always say I'm so simple, except my family size. That's the only thing I did that's like more complicated. But everything else, I just like it simple, and there's no need to overcomplicate things. And so when I went into this, I was like, I want to make it as easy for people to do and affordable. Like, I mean, you literally, if you join the board box, you get every past design I have for $19. So like it's literally it's a no-brainer to me.
It's a ton of value.
That's what Miranda's saying. I was just thinking we could have used an extra couple $100 a month when the shop was getting started. It's an easy way. And like the fact is, I've got 2 6-year-old boys, twin boys, and my 8-year-old daughter. This just seems like also, they're super cute, boys in that line. But this also just seems like a happy Saturday where I could be like, Daddy loves you. Here you go.
Oh yeah.
And like just and then you test it with them, post those as your product testing, and then I don't know. I just see working with the people. Like I can only think of 2 places in my hometown where I could like go pitch this, and the people who run the shops would already do it. So you just sell them the kits.
Yep.
And walk away.
Places like the YMCA and stuff like that, like they're always looking for activities for the kids to do, and they already have the paint and the markers.
Everything else.
The nice thing about this too is MDF. Like you can use just markers, so kids can just color it if you want. They don't even need like wood glue or anything. Like a glue stick works fine with MDF, and so my kids, they can just color it with marker, glue stick it on. It really is, something that kids can do easily. And there are places, daycare centers or whatever, that you say, hey, once a month, I'll come deliver these kits to you, X amount of dollars, and, generate a few like that, and you can have monthly revenue.
Do you have any like religious theme stuff at all? I know it's like political or religious, but like I'm asking because like church daycares in my area are huge.
Yeah. I don't, not for Boardbox Junior, I don't think. But I mean, it's definitely
something wrong with the idea. Download an art.
Like, I'm literally just sitting there thinking like all the like church daycares in my town just would go nuts for this stuff.
Whenever we get to this point on the call, we're like 45 minutes in, and
holy crap,
specifically with a guest like you, Dawn, that comes on the show offering people an opportunity. I like to eliminate excuses for people. And I know one of them is going to be, I don't have enough time. And you said your family size. You'd mentioned your family size. You have 7, right? I aspire to be you, 7. Miranda will never let me have 7. I would love 7. And you didn't start any of this until after you're 7, right?
My baby was 1. Yep.
Okay, no excuses. So literally anybody who wants to complain that they don't have time, Dawn started this entire empire with 7 under her belt. That's
and my husband was on the road a lot. He was gone a lot, which is one of my goals, right? My goal was like to bring him home so he didn't have to be gone so much, and I did that in 2020. So
she's like, you are retired, sir.
Yeah. Awesome. So he's still uncomfortable with saying that. He's like, I don't know what to tell people when they say like, what do I do? And I was like, say you're a retired lineman, like,
I would straight up be like, I work for my wife who's awesome.
I'd be like, I got me a sugar mama. Done.
That's right.
Stamp on it, dude. It's over.
So what do you do? Whatever I want that my wife
whatever I want. Whatever I feel like.
The funny thing is he started raking leaves. He actually raked leaves for some people today because he loves to be outside and working, and that's just what he can do now for fun.
I mean, raking leaves is a lot safer than linemen. So I'll take the leaf raking.
But I also hear that a lot is, I don't have any time, but we all have time. It's just what's a priority to you,
Exactly.
So
I know we covered
very efficient though.
At the very beginning, we covered what lasers you had. I heard Glowforge and Eon, but I didn't hear which Eon it was. Which Eon was it?
So I have the Mira 9.
You have a Mira 9. Yeah, John is just in chat. He said, man, with the new Nova 14, making the kits would be so
By the way, I'm really glad that got to him. In the LMA today, he and I were talking or chatting a little bit, and he was saying, like, it's raining there, cats and dogs, so I'm glad it got there safe, man.
Also, when I said I wanted 7 kids, Miranda said, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, my husband's one of 11, so I knew going in he wanted he wanted a big family, and he's number 7, so he has always wanted 7. So I said, let's take it one at a time, and we'll see where we end up. And we ended up at 7. So and we were like,
7's a pretty good
I'm
number.
like the opposite. I rubber banded. I come from a really small family. I have like a handful of cousins between both sides of my family, and I only have one brother. So I was like, I need to undo this. I need to fill a house.
Yeah.
You know?
My wife and I are like, we make the least amount of money out of everybody we know. Let's have more kids. You know?
Yeah.
That God was like, I was like, we were gonna have 2, and then God's like, watch this. I'm gonna make this guy lose all his hair.
Yeah.
You can make a sign for each of them.
Pretty much. But yeah, like
the other thing too that I noticed is that your link page, which is the only link down in the description, guys. You only have to click one thing, so go click it. There's like a ton of links on that, and they're not necessarily in the order that you should be clicking them, right? Do you have like a recommended order? If I just like had no idea what I was doing at all, like what order should we be clicking those links in? Which ones, where would I start so that I don't click into like the board box and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's like, so you're a board box expert.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So go to can you just go to just my main website? I'm going to show you from the beginning because it might make more sense
boys
there.
To do computer work.
No, hold up. That's not on this window.
So just click. So just go to, just open up a new
Instagram.
Oh, you have to go to a new one. Well, just go in the URL and just do donmarieleggett.com.
Okay.
You could have just deleted
See if he can handle it.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
You can do it, Mr. Clean.
Back up off me.
Hey-o.
Okay, that's not the. Okay, go to my name. Go to my name on the
just
left.
delete all of that. There you go. There you go, buddy.
Boys.
Attaboy. Boys.
That's true. Shut it, people.
I'm being supportive.
There we go.
Okay, so
Look,
main
be kind,
page.
everybody.
Down at the bottom, there's going to be just 2 choices. So if you want to do sign parties and DIY kits or digital marketing, okay? So if you click on sign parties and DIY kits, that's going to allow you to join the Facebook group right there. And then if you scroll down, it's going to be easy as 1, 2, 3. So the first step, start your party journey here. So that starter guide is going to give an overview of what a sign party is and how to kind of have one in like a 10,000 foot view. So if you're just like, I don't know if this is really my jam or not, but I'm kind of interested, that's where you start. And then you can go from there.
Nothing to learn all that.
Step 2, that's the playbook where you get the 21 days handhold from day 1 to day 21 with your first party. You have a practice party in there. I talk about all that. I talk about what to post. All the things is in that playbook. And then at the end of that, you have the choice to join Sign Party Central, which that's the main training hub where you get monthly support from me and others that are in the private group.
Nice.
So that's kind of
step 3.5. Definitely. I really like the board boxes, dude. I think that's like the best.
Yeah,
thing,
man.
Honestly, that's so cool.
So that one, and then obviously that one, other ways to learn. So the board box junior, I help people with their social media every month. So that's the 101 club. And then my other one is
also
just like
wholesale blanks. Like I would love to just cut files all day and then just sell them. That'd be great.
Cool.
So so that's kind of just
there's our baby.
That's my baby.
Your 8th baby, right?
My 8th baby.
The 8th baby, yes.
That's right.
Cool. Well, we've got about 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and I just want to is there anything we didn't talk about today that you wanted to make sure that we talked about while you were here? Not to put you on the spot, but you have so many resources, and I wanted to make sure we didn't glance over anything you thought was important. And I'll ask chat too, while you mull that over for just a second. Now's your chance, guys. You are going to leave so many
expert on
comments
deck
after the show with a ton of questions, but we have Dawn here right now. So if you have a question, drop it in chat before we close out.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is just, and no, I think we covered it all.
Good.
I do like the fact that we covered I don't have time, make it a priority. You don't have to do this like tomorrow if you don't want to, but you can start to learn the skills to do it maybe in 2024 or whatever. So, and again, it's not rocket science. It's going to be something where you have to study forever or whatever. I make it very simple. So if it is something that you're interested in, start with the starter guide and just kind of see, or jump right into the playbook, and then you can see what it's going to take to get your party started. but it's definitely doable. And, you know, I made over 125 my first year with the actual physical parties because I said I wanted to do it and I did it. So
I mean, you could even like with the playbook, you could do like it's days 1 through 21, right? But you could do day 1 and then skip 2 days and do day 2 and skip 2 days. Like you can space them out. You're still going to end the same
place. It's like
place.
day 2 of your business. Yeah.
Yeah. You could do every day in a week. So you don't feel
every Monday is Sign Parties 101 day.
Right.
See, my first thought was exactly what you just said a second ago. Like my quarter 4 is already done in my mind because I've already got like I told you the projects before we got going. Like I just got like this week was the week of phone calls for me. And it's like, okay, I got my blinders on. I need to get these done. But January, you got 21 days. And then right in the beginning of February, you've got Valentine's Day where everybody loves to go do couple stuff. And if you can't, and it's either you got a month and a half to find host, or you've got a place to find, or you could literally say, I'm going to do it, and then just go get it done. You know, like, I mean, so many places are looking for activities for couples.
Well, I think too, after the holiday is that business lull. Everybody's trying to survive that Q1 downturn to get people to go to business in the winter. So you can go to those businesses and say, hey, do one in January. It might help just give you a little boost, a little something.
I knew they were coming, so there's a lot of great questions.
Good questions. Here we go.
Belinda is asking, with the junior boxes, are they usually on 3mm or 6mm MDF? Do you have a preference between the two?
I do all mine on 3mm.
3mm.
Yep. Okay. But I mean, you can if like the 1/4 inch or 6 mil is your jam, do that. Or it's like, or if I only do birch, I only use 1/4 inch birch. Well, then do that, you know. Yeah. But I always just use you know, the 1/8 inch MDF. It paints good, it colors good, you know. So for my kids,
juniors, you want it to be lighter for the smaller kids too, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, and Laura's back in chat saying the classes are self-paced. That is what I liked. So you know, Laura's stoked on just the pacing of it. Wilcox Ranch is asking, for the parties, how do you approach a market or vendor for hosting? My studio would be too small for having a vendor host, but having a vendor host would also bring in business for them. So is there like, how do you get the conversation started, I think is kind of the
So I always like to do it in person, right? You could send an email or whatever, but I always like to do it in person. And I sometimes, two things, I'll either bring a project in that's finished and I say, I would love to do like a craft night or paint night or whatever, and this is what we could make or something similar. Here's how it would work. I would come in, I would bring everything that you would need. We would have, you know, your people, your customers or your patrons come in here and, you know, make this sign or make this craft. Or another thing that I like to do is I gift them a sign with their logo on it. And I say, I just want to give this to you. You know, I love eating here, or I'm at this brewery every other week with my hubby or whatever. And I just want to gift this to you. And also just let you know that we do these parties and we actually can make things like this, you know, for people that come to the party. And this is kind of how it would work. This is how much I charge. We can work a deal to, you know, include a drink or an appetizer or whatever. Or not, it, you know, it's kind of up to the establishment how they want to do that. And you just start talking, you know, that's like, be friendly, be giving, bring them a sign, bring them a tumbler, you know, so whatever you do, and then just start having that conversation.
Beautiful.
And the other thing I wanted to, since we're oh wait, Miranda has a question.
No, she has a comment.
Oh, well, ladies first.
Yeah. Well, she says a sign party would be a good option for winter birthday parties too. The weather limits us for at least 6 out of 12 months of the year, so we need options. True.
Yeah, winter, or even, you know, market to the parents for, you know, having some kits on hand for the rainy days and the sick days. You know, maybe the kid's not feeling well. Instead of putting them in front of the TV all day, just put a kit in their lap and have them color a little bit or whatever, you know? So
yeah, cut down the screen time approach. That's not a bad marketing scheme or approach. I mean,
so what I was going to actually bring up too, you're also you have a wealth of knowledge you want to share beyond this too, because I noticed you have a couple of ebooks.
Books. I totally forgot about the ebooks.
So you have success on socials.
Plug your ebooks.
You have Craft Party recipe book, and you also have the Aroma Sign Party instruction book, right? So you kind of have that spread.
Craft Party recipe book sounds
Yeah. So the Craft Party, okay, so the reason why I created that was for my members, I gave it to them. For non-members, they could purchase it and use it as a lead magnet for to get people to subscribe to their email list. So you could say, hey, do you want, 9 different recipes that make awesome, food and drink for your next craft party that you have? I have this recipe book for you or whatever. So I created that, gave it to my members to get people to join their email list. So that's what that one was for.
Makes it even easier to host.
Yeah. What was the other one? I forget.
Success on socials.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a bunch of hooks and stuff that you can use on social media. Yeah. So, so many people or so many of my members are like, I don't know what to post. I don't know how to post. I don't know what to do when it comes to social media and whatever. And so I just like to guide them every once in a while on, things that they can post. And I help a lot with that in Sign Party Central, which is the main membership. I have graphics they can use to up their engagement and, all that kind of stuff. So
it's so important though.
I just really like my big umbrella, and this is why I got into that virtual venture, because people in other industries were asking me how to create memberships, how to create subscriptions, how to, make money on an ebook guide or whatever. And so my big umbrella goal is I just really love to see people succeed. I love to see them grow something from nothing. And yeah, I love to create entrepreneurs. And so that's just kind of my jam. So if I can help you guys in any way grow your thing, that's what I like to do.
You're definitely succeeding at that. And it's really awesome to watch you succeed at that because you
it's really cool.
Kick out of it. Yeah.
It's also meeting you at LBX. That was pretty cool to get to meet you in person, which is awesome.
I think I realized I met you in one of the ballrooms were you next to Alicia Pate?
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay. Or no. Alicia Pate.
No. She joined us and sat next to you, dude.
No, I actually haven't met Alicia in person. I saw her at LBX, but I haven't met her.
Okay.
I mean,
there was there were so many people that day, and I was running around like a crazy person on day one. So I know I saw you.
I probably saw you in passing. I was mainly at the Eon table most of the time when I wasn't. I actually didn't go to any of the classes, which I kind of feel bad. But we're gonna get the recordings, I think. So I just wanted to talk to people and stuff. And I know Boyce and I were Facebook friends, and so when I saw him, I kind of jumped out in front of you, and I was like, "Hey, I have to meet you. We're Facebook friends." So
oh my God, Mr. Clean, how was the Civil War? Tell me all about it.
Well, and our LBX coverage is going to be coming out soon too, right?
Yeah, it is. I just dropped the last 1.5 terabytes of footage today.
God, 2.5.
So it's uploading. It'll be available soonish. But neither here nor there. This was Dawn Marie Leggett, everybody. You can find her at DawnMarieLeggett.com. It's LEGATT.com. Find that 3-step guide. And then check out the board boxes. The board boxes are super cool.
So cute.
I want a board box. Awesome.
Also the shop. She has a bunch of kits and digital files.
Digital files, kits, awesome all kinds of stuff in her shop, which is linked on there as well. And there's a link to her Linktree-esque page down in the description of this video right now. You can go click and find her everywhere. Dawn, thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you for dealing with us. We started late. We had technical problems. Boyce dropped an F-bomb. We checked all the boxes.
No.
I didn't say the F-word.
He said one S.
No F-bomb? Oh, nice.
Come on, dude.
Yes, great. You're killing
We reined him in a little bit. We tried.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, feel like having Dawn on, you know what to do. Smash the like button. Let everybody else know the episode was good. And don't forget to do what? What comes next? I was thinking about Boyce's head. It's so shiny.
Get subscribed, hit the bell icon, click the links.
Oh yeah, do that. Subscribe
Laser
to the
Academy.
show. Yeah.
Have you yet to take down the stuff?
Subscribe. No, I haven't taken down the LBX merch yet. You can still buy it. subscribe to Dawn's YouTube channel. I want to start like a pressure campaign to get Dawn onto YouTube.
So that means I need to start making videos on there.
If you have any questions about YouTube, you can come talk to the people that are screwing it up on the daily. Guys, also please, if you're listening to the audio version of this, go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes a second. You don't have to write a review. Just leave us 5 stars and let us know how long you think it will take Boyce to look up when the Civil War started using nothing but Google.
I was there, man.
37 hours. Yeah, I know you already know the answer. That's why I picked the question. That's it. I'm not going to plug anything else. I want you guys to spend your time going and researching Dawn and all of the wonderful, awesome things that she has to offer you. This is seriously like for people that are just like, they bought all of this laser stuff and they're just having trouble like getting the launch.
I just want something else.
I mean, like this is like that really, really solid push. You need to start making money and feel good about your business, and I really like that. So that's awesome. Dawn, thank you again so much.
Yes, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Yeah, we'll have you back again. If you ever have any like new courses or products to announce, we need to have you back.
Oh yeah.
This was a blast. That's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Laser Source Podcast, and we will see you in the next one.